Yeah, if people know that you're only going to be here for 45 minutes, they're not even going to show up because Jim and I can't hold a crowd. We're nothing without you, Mike.
I'm wearing my special shirt to hold the crowd.
I know. Look at you.
I've been playing golf today. My golf game's pretty ugly, so I like to wear an ugly shirt when I'm playing as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, Jim,
the
only thing you're missing is like some weird like caterpillar mustache, and you'd be like a great 60s or 70s porn star.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Maybe some puka shells would be cool too.
Yeah. So we were talking about the perfect transition, right? We were talking about the awesome Hall of Fame. And Mike, how many tickets you have sold so far?
Well, I would say that probably 150, and it'll probably tap out at about 250. So yeah, it's going to be a full house. It's we'll squeeze as many into the room as we can, but most Hall of Fame banquets are not that as big as that. So this is a great opportunity and going to be a great night. And obviously with Shane getting in and Mosconi Cup being there with everybody being in town, it's ripe for a pretty big party.
Wait, Shane's getting inducted?
Yeah,
we're all coming to see you. We're just coming to see you. I didn't realize Shane was going to steal your thunder.
No.
Isn't Shane Wolford a little young to be inducted?
Yeah, exactly.
So I spoke to SVB. I spoke to SVB at the UK Open. He hasn't even started on his speech yet. He did say he was going to drill a few people.
He's going to drill a few people. Yeah. No, he will. He'll wait till the last minute because his schedule is like that. But he'll do fine. He's excited to do it. He's always talked about, when I get up there, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna give a lame speech like some of these other guys, things like that. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for his speech, really.
Yep.
Because 60% capacity.
The one thing about the Hall of Fame banquet is that the Hall of Famers usually come with stuff that you never knew about. They talk about themselves and their history and problems they went through and struggles they had, things like that they usually don't talk about even in articles or interviews. So you always get some stuff out of there that's really, it's a really personal moment for them to be up there on that stage. So it's usually pretty good.
Especially if they have as much to drink as Appleton and Chris Melling had before.
Oh my God.
Then you're in for a treat pretty much every time.
Longest Hall of Fame speech in the history of Hall of Fame speeches.
Well, I don't know. I think Jeanette Lee probably gets that.
I don't know. Darren went through a special, comment on 22 different Hall of Famers who were there, and that didn't even talk. That's what he wasn't even talking about his family or himself or anything else. So it was a long one.
Yeah. Very good. I'm looking forward to
60% capacity. The link for it is in the comments right now. So if you want to get one of your spots, I guess you're running out of time pretty quickly, huh? There's only 3 months until we're there.
Yeah,
fill up quick. Yeah,
it will sell out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
I had to book my 2 tables. Probably gonna have to book another one. It sounds like. But got my 2 tables. So, yay! If you want to join the Queue It Up tables, reach out. We can get you hooked up with us as well. Jim and I are, but you can't sit next to Jim and I because we're just gonna sit next to each other over in the corner. Maybe get a little candle.
I'm gonna put on a green jacket and sort of sneak my way up to the top table.
I don't think that you would even make it through the door.
Of course I will.
No way.
They're all old men. They don't know who's in there. They're all a bit senile. They've lost their
minds. Yeah. just tell them you're Barry Hearn.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. I don't know. You guys want to jump into the? Do we want to jump into the European Open? Anything else we'd like to talk about before that? I guess. Mike, you have any big announcements?
No.
Jimbo, you've been dodging the podcast now for about a good 2.5 months now.
I haven't been dodging. You just pick rubbish times to do it. No,
why didn't you play?
I have no big announcements. I'm going to be going. I've decided to go and play the European Championships in Turkey again in November.
Okay. Why didn't you play the European Open?
I did play the European Open.
Oh, you did. Oh, that's right.
It lasted that long.
Yeah, it didn't last very long. No, I was absolutely rubbish. Yeah. I wasn't going to bother playing because I'm not really playing very much at the moment. So I wasn't going to bother playing, but then I was always going to go there and support. So I sent an email to Match, says, look, if you've got a spot, then I'm coming anyway. I'll bring my gear with me. And they sent an email back saying we've got a spot for you. I said, all right, stick me in. But I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. And I wasn't really motivated to play. I don't like playing, or I can't get motivated to play a tournament that I already know I can't win. That's not the way I'm built. I have to be able to win in order to get motivated. So
tell me about the setup and the atmosphere, and how it ranks with the other events you've been to and played in.
I like Fulda from all the events. I mean, obviously, I wasn't at the Worlds, and I haven't been at the US Open, but the setup at Fulda is for me the best because they have two separate rooms. You have the room where all the play is going on. And it's an arena. It's the standard matchroom kind of arena, groups of 4 tables, and then the TV table and the 2 secondary tables. But they have another room beside it with all the vendors and a bar. And there you can sit and you can talk normally and have a chat and a bit of fun. And there's some tables there where people are, playing challenge matches and stuff. And it keeps people in the venue, and that's really, really nice. So I like Fulda for that. The setup. Those tables are just brutal, It's just it just drains. If you're not on, it just drains your confidence, and it's not just players of my level. It's the top guys as well. You see it, As soon as you get out of shape one time, or you're a bit puzzled about what's happened with the cue ball. How the hell did it get there? You start second guessing yourself. It's just very, 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 very tough.
Yeah.
Joshua Filler looked a little rough against Mustafa the second time.
You just start to question yourself. Is it me that's doing it? Is it the table that's doing it? Is it the conditions or me? And you don't really know how to adjust or what to adjust. Now these guys are playing on these tables, more and more regularly, so they're a bit more used to it. But Raymond's not on here, but I think he had the same kind of issue. I went there feeling okay. I went in on the Monday evening to practice. It's like, I'm not ready to play. I might just kill these tables.
Yeah.
I've been playing okay. I've been playing pretty well when I have been playing. I've not been playing regularly, but I've been playing okay when I have been playing. And just practicing the tables, I'm not ready to play a match on these tables. This is just crazy. Yeah. And I think a lot of people suffered with that. I think Raymond suffered with it as well. Sam played well. Sam had a good run. I watched a couple of his matches. He battled through a couple of matches in the early rounds.
He did quite well. His first final 64.
Yeah, good lad. You see a good one, Sam. But I saw other guys that they just didn't look themselves.
Did you see Kachi play?
I saw Kachi play. Didn't look himself.
Yeah.
But he played against opponents that had they had the half hour of their life. They just played. He wasn't playing bad. It wasn't the normal Kachi. He wasn't firing the balls in off the break at 100 mile an hour like he normally is. And he was on the outside tables. He had a little bit of a run-in with a referee about wanting a shot clock and stuff like that, and he was refused it. I think that unsettled him in his match. He wasn't happy about that. I was surprised he went out that early, but
of course,
I'm not surprised that a player of his level can go out that early because it's just very tough conditions, and it's 9-ball.
Yeah, I think pretty much every tournament we have from here on in at this level, at this equipment, and with these kind of fields, you're going to have 1 or 2 really top guys who don't make the final 64.
Yeah,
it's just not going to be that surprising anymore.
No. But and the tables that play. The tables at the US Open are going to be different from what I understand. It's still going to be the 4-inch pockets, but the pocket is going to be extended rails, whereas these tables were just double shimmed. So if you rattled the ball in the pocket, it just stayed in the pocket. It didn't come out. it sort of died in the pocket, you know. Whereas if you've got a proper rail or you know, something that's a bit softer, the ball will come out. You never really saw a ball missing and then sort of coming out and rolling along the short rail. You know what I'm saying? It would
kind of a perfect example is
they would just rattle and just sit there.
The 9-ball that Joshua Filler missed, right? I mean,
yeah, they just
Josh fired that pretty hard into that corner pocket, and it just kind of rattled and sat there. Yeah,
that's it. And there was a lot of balls like that, and then you know you're hitting the ball pretty well. You're not far off it, but it's hanging over the pocket every time. So you know that kind of thing. But that won't happen at the US Open, I think, because as far as I understand, Diamond are making new tables for the US Open with extended rails, so the pocket should play a little bit softer, like a pocket should play.
There were Rassen tables in European Open or Diamond.
Diamond.
They were Diamond.
Yeah, they'd have to be Diamond, yeah, because they have the multi-table.
Rassen is only for the single table events.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Rassen is only for the single table events.
Or for the near single table events, like the Premier League pools technically is 2, but that's still Rassen tables.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to Sam Henderson, I mean, it would have been pretty interesting to see what happens if he doesn't draw Mickey Krause. Of course, he has the draw against Mickey Krause in the last 64, and Mickey Krause beats Sam 10-8, goes on to win his next match against Chang Yu Lung 10-7, goes on to win his next match against Albin Ocean 10-2, goes on to win his next match against Koping Chung 10-7. Goes on to win his next match against Sky Woodward 11-9, and then obviously wins in the finals against Johan Chua 13-8. Sam put up the best fight of anybody that he played in all of his matches. I mean, Sky Woodward and him.
No, he lost. He lost the match, Mickey Krause.
Oh, I just mean in the final 64.
Oh, in the final 64. Yeah.
Of the final 64 matches.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
Sam lost by 2 racks. Sky lost by 2 racks, but everybody else.
Yeah. In the qualification rounds, Mickey, you know, he had a lot of struggles in his, first 4 matches. And then he started to loosen up and get better. But yeah, Sam put up a good fight. You know, he's a good player. He's just gaining confidence because he's gaining this experience. And, you know, I think, you know, there's high expectations with him.
I think I like Sam's attitude that, you know, you talk about there being high expectations. He also expects a lot from himself as well. You know, I was watching his second match, and he got through Hill in his second match. So he'd won his first 2 matches. So he's straight into the winner's qualification.
Right.
And there was no hint. I didn't see it. I was tableside, and he came over. I was sitting beside his mum. And he came over, and there was no hint from him of, yes, I'm in the winner's qualification.
Yeah.
It was, today was a struggle. You know, and I like that there's that kind of expectation to do well at these tournaments. And his first reaction was, well, that was a bit of a struggle today, rather than, I'm in the winner's qualification.
Yeah. No, he wasn't.
Just to get through, you know, and I like that, you know.
Yeah. No, he's plenty hungry and focused on, you know, getting better all the time and learning from, you know, his experiences. So yeah, there's a lot of expectation on him going forward because he does have the right mentality and a great game. So,
and it's tough when you start traveling for the first time, you know, because, you know, his mum's coming with him, so he's got the pressure of, you know, I don't want us to be traveling halfway around the world and it to be for absolutely nothing kind of thing, you know. So he's got that kind of pressure on him, and he handles it very, very well.
Yeah.
He's a very down to earth kid. He's wise beyond his years.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
It's pretty rough when you're basically doubling your travel expenses because you have to have a parent with you.
Yeah,
it's tough action.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, Tracy did some stuff with on board as well, so she was doing some work while she was as well. Yeah.
I don't think she's going to let him get too far ahead of her, whether she has to go or not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's turning 18 in a shade over 1 month.
Okay.
So we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess obviously Mickey Krause, this is his first. I mean, by far this is the best win of his career. He's been playing pretty high level pool now for a couple of months now. I mean, I think you could have probably. How many guesses do you think you could have of this field before you get to Mickey Krause, Mike?
How many what?
How many guesses do you think on a winner that you'd have gotten before you got?
Yeah, before you hit Mickey Krause, probably a while, but not with. You would have guessed people who are ranked behind him based on this year's rankings so far. I mean, he was still pretty high in the rankings going into that because he has played really well this year.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have been one of your first 15 picks probably to win because he's never won. And so a lot of guys get on a little bit of a streak where they play 2 or 3 good tournaments, but win the tournament, different story. But we saw it with Robbie Capito. Now we've seen it with Mickey. The talent level is getting better and better, and the field's getting thicker and thicker, and you're going to have more of these first-time winners. I mean, it's interesting. It's actually a lot of fun, but these guys they're all getting there. I mean, you look at the tournament that Robbie Capito won. All 4 guys in the Final Four were chasing their first title.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mieszko Fortunski, that was the first finals he'd ever made, right?
So it's it's fun stuff.
It's 9-ball.
Yeah. It's 9-ball. But these guys they play pretty good. It's not just somebody got unlucky and those are the breaks, and this guy caught a bunch of rolls and whatever. These young guys, Labutis and Krause and Capito and Victor and guys they're really good pool players.
Yeah,
really good pool players.
And I think it's helped Mickey. I mean, Mickey's obviously lives in Denmark, and he's been sparring a lot with Niels. The two of them get together quite regularly and train together, and I think that's really helped his game. I remember during lockdown, I was playing all these ghost tournaments, and Mickey Krause was in quite a few of these ghost tournaments. And you were given a handicap during these ghost tournaments based on your Fargo. And he had the same handicap as me. So we're talking in 2020, 2021, he was given the same handicap as me, and now he's won the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's made massive steps in the.
He did make one of those. He did make one of those journeys to the Philippines that all young players make.
He's done all you want to call it your pool apprenticeship. He's done all that kind of thing, and you just see that's the benefit of it.
Yeah.
And obviously having Niels back at home with him,
right.
Giving him a top player that he can bounce off and learn off.
Yeah,
and he's raised his game, and he's now. I mean, he's in the Reyes Cup, and he's looking pretty strong for Mosconi Cup.
Looking really strong for Mosconi Cup too. Yeah.
When's this U.S. Open is when they make this. After the U.S. Open is the second announcement. Yeah.
Second one, and then Hanoi, the third one.
Yeah. So the second one is U.S. Open, and according to my calculations, even someone, the guy who's right behind him, which is Josh, needs to reach the semis. I think. For him to pass.
Well, the U.S. Open, the prize funds pretty much double what the UK Open.
Yeah, no, I looked at it. That's why I was looking at that, and so I figured he's got to finish he's got to reach the semifinals to take over Mickey, assuming Mickey doesn't get to the semifinals. But if he only reaches like the quarterfinals, all Mickey has to do is cash, and he stays ahead. So yeah, he's got a really good chance of locking up Mosconi Cup at the U.S. Open as well. Although
you're right.
We're kind of due to see a Final Four with the top players, right? We've seen a lot of really unusual Final Fours so far this year, but maybe we're due for Filler and Federer and FSR and one of the Coes or someone, a big time Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's about a 60. So there's actually about a $6,500 difference. So, but 65th through 92nd place does get $1,000. So,
right.
I mean, there is actually a situation where the quarterfinals would be enough if Mickey Krause somehow, 2'd and out or 3 and out or something like that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, because the quarterfinals is $6,750.
Right.
And the difference between them is about $6,500. So yeah.
Right.
But realistically,
he just needs the cash to force Josh to make the semis, or even
don't count out a European winning the US Open.
Well, that's true. I mean, you could get. I mean, guys who are up there.
Sure.
You know,
If Jason wins it, he jumps above them all.
Jason or a David Alcade or a Victor or someone like that. You know, FSR. They're all in that. You know, in that hunt if they pull off the U.S. Open.
It's
going to be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess Joshua Filler's at 62,000, David Alcaides at 57,000, Victor Zielinski's at 54,000. So it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty tight within that kind of group there.
It is pretty tight. Victor's been a disappointment to me. You know, he was really in good position going into the World Pool Championship and going into the European if he just did anything, and he just really didn't do much. You know, he's left a couple of really good chances on the table.
Yeah, he's left a couple. Yeah, he's definitely had a tough run of it recently. So I guess who's your standout for the tournament outside of? I think Mickey Krause takes us all by surprise. I think I can speak for you too when I'm saying that. He's been playing pretty strong level pool, but I mean, Johan Chua's kind of been knocking on the door now for close to a year.
There's another one who's had some great events. I mean, he was semis in the World Championship as well.
Yep.
So you know, he's obviously he's got his game up there. He just needs, you know, he needs that one more try in a final, I think, to get over the hump, because he kind of looked in the, you know, final kind of the way he looked in the semifinal of the World Pool Championship, where all of a sudden he got there and he just seemed a little bit overwhelmed. And he kind of looked like that in the European final as well, I thought. You know, I didn't think.
I think Chua struggled in 2 matches, and it was the 2 matches where he would be considered to be the favourite in.
Yeah.
And his quarter-final he struggled, and then the final he struggled. And those were the 2 matches where, you know, he probably felt, you know, I should win this match. You know, with all due respect to Mickey, Chua's going in there probably thinking, hey, if you
I don't know. Yeah, just knowing him, though, I think that he probably went in there more nervous than confident.
You know, I mean, why would he not be confident? Look at the way he played the semi-final against Shane. He played with massive,
unbelievable. But then now he was
over.
Now he was a step further
for the finals.
You know, now he was a step further, and he just looked. You know, and he talked about it later. He said, you know, at the beginning he was, you know, his grip was all over the place because he was so nervous and stuff like that. So,
but he's an amazing player to watch. I really enjoy watching him play.
And I will say,
great fun to watch.
Yeah, I will say this: the match room when they were first starting these events, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they did 3 consecutive matches. They did 1 semifinal, they did the next semifinal, and then they ran the finals immediately after that. And there was a stretch there where like the person who got second to the finals had a very low win percentage, and I think it's just a mental grind, just being able to like go from that second match straight into another finals match while you're giving somebody else a little bit of a break to kind of mentally reset. But I think, going off your guys' conversation, I think if Johan Chua did get right back into the box after his semifinals, I think he does play better. I think having that little extra break probably tightens him up a little bit. Maybe makes him look a little bit nervous, more nervous than he should have been.
Possible.
Yeah, it can happen.
Possible.
Everybody reacts different to these situations, and you never really know. It's not until you've been in that situation a number of times that you kind of know what's better for you and what you prefer.
That's the whole experience thing. Now, you know, next time you'll know better. Next time you'll know more. Next time you'll feel different. Whatever. So yeah, I think with Chua now, I think, you know, next time I see him in a final, I'd be really surprised if he didn't win, because he's kind of making these steps one at a time.
I mean, he was sensational against Shane.
I'm sorry?
He was sensational against Shane.
He was, yeah.
The way he closed that match out, kind of thing. He never looked like not closing it out. It was very good.
Right. Yeah. So
talk
about Skyler. Talk about Skyler too, as far as standouts for me for the thing. It was great to see him have a good run again, because it's been kind of a less than great year to this point when he has played. So it was really good to see him look like Skyler Woodward again.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think it's going to take Sky to break through? Because right now, as unpopular as this might be to say, he's kind of starting to look like the American Mario He he's making a lot of semifinals, a lot of quarterfinals, and just can't seem to break through and get that win.
Yeah, impossible for me to answer if he can't figure it out. He doesn't look overwhelmed by the moment. He doesn't look, he's not one of those guys who gets down on himself when he gets behind. He just hasn't put it all together in those final couple of matches.
Let's be honest. When he's got beaten in these semi-finals, he's come up against a guy that's played great against him. It's not like he's thrown away any of these opportunities. Right. The opportunities were there, but the other guy just took it. It's not like Skyler gave it away or
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't shit the bed.
It was taken from him by a very good player who played really, really well.
Yeah.
What do you think of the foul? What do you think of the foul? Are we going to talk about the foul, or has it been talked about too much on Facebook?
Talk about what?
The foul or the not foul?
I still don't understand. I mean, I get how like popular Sky is, and because like there's always going to be a sense of homerism whenever you're talking about Sky or Shane like that. But if anybody thinks that's not a foul, I just don't think that they understand the fundamental rules or how to read, or just have their blinders on, and it doesn't really matter. It has to be a foul. There's no other thing it can be.
Well, I would assume that you're correct, but the funny thing is, you look at a lot of these threads and you see who comments on the threads, and there's a lot of guys who argue one way or the other, or if they did this, it could have been this. If you did that, who are, world-class players, and they weren't all agreeing 100% on what happened. So, at that point, I just throw up my hand and say, what am I going to say?
Well, I think all of that is fine, except for the ref. If they are frozen, the ref has to deem them frozen, and that was definitely never done. And so it doesn't matter if you think it's frozen or if you know it's frozen, but the ref didn't verify it. The rule is the ref has to verify that they're frozen, and that was never done. So what is there to talk about?
When it started to blow up on Facebook, I just simply measured Sky and said to him, I said, look, with the balls frozen. He said, no, they were clearly not frozen. So then it's a foul. Simple as that. And people are saying, but the referee didn't go and look over the balls, and we didn't see the referee check it to see if they were frozen. They're not playing on your local club table where you have to get close to the balls to see a gap. This thing's lit by about.
If he saw a gap, he doesn't need to get any closer.
Exactly. The thing's lit by about 150 lamps. You can see a gap from a meter or two away. He saw a gap. Yeah. Skyler hasn't even gone to check over it with his hand, kind of thing. So he sees a gap clearly while he's walking around the table.
Yeah, no, I don't think he thought they were frozen.
He didn't. He never thought they were frozen. He said they were clearly not. So he's jacked up and tried to play a shot, and he's played through the 6, and it's a foul. Yeah.
I don't see how there's even an argument to be made on the other side of it. I've not heard I've not heard a single argument that even sounds like it could potentially be valid. I mean,
and then CJ Wiley posted a post of
he thinks the Earth is flat. Who cares about what CJ Wiley has to say?
No, but what he did do is he said it's not a foul, and I'll show you why. And he played the shot, the way Sky tried to play the shot, but it reacted completely different. So the shot can be made, but Skyler just didn't play it right.
Right.
Well, I mean. The shot clock was good. I mean, right before he takes a shot, he looks up at the shot clock and realizes he's running out of time and just gets down right away and shoots it. I mean, if you give him the same shot and give him unlimited time, I bet he's going to execute it at a higher level. But when you rush him like that,
what I will say is there's been a lot of people on social media blasting the referee. In my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion that know the game, that go to these matchroom events and have a referee and know the rules that are played by. Marcel handled that situation perfectly from his side. He did everything correct. He doesn't need to declare them not frozen. He saw a gap. He says nothing. He was watching. He saw the ball go forward. It clearly went through the 6. It's a foul. Sky challenged it. He said, no, you went through it. This is why it's a foul. And I mean, I spoke to Sky. He said, look, he understands and he accepts it. I mean, I just wish everybody else on Facebook would accept it the way Sky was accepting.
That would be too easy.
Yeah.
We treat everything like politics these days, where it doesn't really matter what the other side is. You're on your side and you're going to make your argument no matter what, and you're right no matter what. And that's just
but I wish he played it clean, because he played a great shot. I wish he played it clean. there's no way in the world you can think it's clean because it was
If you listen to the podcast for a long time, you know that I've had some choice thoughts and some choice opinions on Marcel, the referee, and some of the decisions he's made. This, I agree. This was, I mean, if I'm going to call him out when I think he does a bad job, I got to praise him when he does a good job. He handled it exactly perfectly. He called foul. He thought it was a foul, and then he immediately said, all right, let's check the cameras to make sure that I'm right. I hope that that's a learning thing on his behalf, that he's willing and open to potentially being wrong and going to the camera to check it. I mean, perfect. Bravo. Perfect. You can't do it any better than that. That's textbook. So props to him for that.
Yep.
I mean, I guess one more standout that I think that's worth talking about. Mustafa Alnar. What is he's 3-0 against Joshua Filler now in the last 3 weeks? That's
where else did he beat him?
What the event previous to this one? I think he played
in Bucharest or in Helsinki.
I don't think Helsinki, but either way,
Bucharest, I think.
I
could be wrong on that.
I was stunned that he beat him the second time.
Yes,
in the European Open. That was when we were like, okay, Josh is going to come in ripping mad. And he is just not going to miss a ball.
Yeah, the World 9 ball, he beat him, yeah.
No, he didn't beat him. He beat Federer at the World 9 ball.
He beat
him in the opening round. Yeah, you're right.
9 ball, not Filler. But either way, I thought the second match at the European, Josh was going to run him out of the gym. Got to give Mustafa Alnar a lot of credit for, he had to know that train was coming too. And what his chances probably were. And he didn't look flustered. He didn't look, when he got ahead, he didn't look like he was going to panic at all. He did
get a couple of presents from Josh, to be honest.
He did. But most people are going to if you're going to beat Josh. So, Chua got a couple of presents from Shane too. And he took advantage of him and beat him to death. And that's what Alnar did against Josh. And that's what you're supposed to do when you get the chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So credit to him. I'm looking forward to seeing, if this is something that, that he starts showing up regularly.
I hope so. This is the thing with what Matchroom are doing now. It's giving everybody the opportunity to make a name for themselves. And I like it. I would like to see in every single event at least one or two new names come through and make a name for themselves and show that that they want to belong with the top tier, and we're seeing that, But what we're not seeing is somebody backing it up by doing it again and again and again. We're missing that.
It's going to be so hard to do that these days.
It is so hard to do it, but it doesn't have to be every single time. But I expect to see. Bosch gets to the final of the Spanish Open. I don't expect him to get the final in the next event, but I expect him to qualify for the 64s.
Yeah,
and push into the top 16 and be there on the weekend. Now and again, which hasn't happened. I'll be looking for Mickey. I'll be looking for Mickey now. I want to see him on the TV again. I don't want to just disappear. It
was kind of the same way with Labutis too. I kept okay, are we going to see him more in this tournament? He laid a total.
Sufi, what's he done since the final of the Worlds? That's it. You can do it once, and there's a big group of players that are capable of doing it once. I want to see somebody, push it in and be the new, do what not what FSR did, but that's pretty hard to do. But get in there and establish yourself and stay there.
Make 3 final 8s in a year, or
exactly,
or 5 final 16s, a couple final 8s. Show that you're consistently in that top 16 type of finisher.
Exactly. Be in the conversation every tournament. That's that's where you need to be. So we'll see. We'll see if players like Alnar and even Mickey, if they can back it up with more events in the coming year or 18 months. Because that's kind of what you need to do. One tournament win is not going to feed you for a year.
No.
Yeah.
Based off that, what do you think? Do you think this is a one-off for Mickey, or do you think he has some staying power, Jim?
Again, nobody has yet. of everyone that's come through and made, and had that one tournament where they've made a bang, they haven't really backed it up.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, what Mickey has done, what Mickey has done is he's actually built up to that.
That's what I was going to say. That's the difference.
The rest came out of nowhere. Mickey has sort of built his way up to that big win by having good results.
Okay, so what do you consider FSR then? Because FSR built up to that same thing, finally broke through, won one, and then he won everything for basically a calendar year.
Yeah, but I just said we can't really talk about FSR because that was like that's just to think that might happen again is just what he did was he had a Hall of Fame career in an 18-month spell.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect people to do that.
You can't expect him to have that same level, but I mean, you started by saying like nobody's done it yet. I mean, he kind of did, right?
When Matchroom started, FSR was, he was already.
Yeah, FSR was a pretty known quantity. He hadn't won yet, but he was a known quantity at that point.
He didn't come out of the same box as Sufi and those.
No, definitely not that.
But
I mean, I would make the argument that he was. I would make the argument he was in the same boat as like a Mark Beisterbosch. I mean, Mark Beister. Oh, absolutely. At the time when he started breaking through, yeah, absolutely. I think Mark Beisterbosch was very well known on the tour, but had never won anything.
No, I would say that the starting point. No. But like Mike said, he built up to it. Beisterbosch just sort of bang. I'm here.
He was always around. He always played. He was always a good European player and did well in the
exactly. I mean, he won the European 10 ball a few years
ago. Never had any real, top 16, top 8s. Not many of them.
He made a little bit. He made a bit of a name for himself within the Matchroom when Nick decided to stop and he was the next in line. So he went partner Neil. So he got into the World Cup of Pool and stuff like that. Right. And he's improved a lot. He's a great player and he has some great results. But he was more of a bang, like a Sufi was a bang, but Mickey has built up over the last 6 months, and he's reached a crescendo now. He just needs to keep going, and he's going to get the chance to keep doing it because he's going to get Reyes Cup. He's going to every single tournament. He's at every single tournament he can play. He's there. Right.
I think you guys have a little bit more rose-colored expectations of what FSR's resume was like before he actually broke through and won that Derby City 9-ball. I mean, there's Spanish pool. He had the WPA, so he did win the junior championship in 2010. He did not win another thing outside of Spain until 2016, where he won a European pool championship 9-ball, and then he didn't win anything again until the Euro Tour in 2021.
We're not really talking about winning as much as
you're just looking at results.
Was he consistently getting to 16? Was he occasionally getting to 8? Was he, was there, if you looked at 8 good pro tournaments that he was in, was he 64, 64, 64, 4? Or was
the data for that is a little bit harder to find, right?
8, 4, 16, that type of thing. So,
I mean, on the spot, it's a lot harder to come across that.
Based on that, I could turn around and say, over here in Europe, Skylar Woodward's won nothing.
Yeah, of course.
He's rubbish. He's won nothing.
Honestly, I would consider Sky and FSR.
We all know how great a player Skylar is.
Sure.
But you list everything he's won. It's not a big list.
No.
But if you list where he's gone deep and the big results he's had and what he's done for the
and that he's a great player. Yeah.
That's what makes him a great player, not just how many W's he's got.
Right.
I'm agreeing with that. I think. Well, I mean, this started with, I think, Mark Beisterbosch is kind of at that level that I thought FSR was at. I mean, Mark Beisterbosch has made a lot of pretty healthy runs in tournaments, too, in the last, give or take, 5 to 7 years. But,
sporadically, yeah.
Yeah, well, sporadically, yeah. Yep. But that's, I mean, up until 2021, I thought, I'm just making the argument, I think FSR was kind of the same way.
If you want to say that, if you want to say that, then there's 20 or 30 European players that are doing that.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of started this conversation was: do you think Mickey Krause is more of a Sufi, or do you think he's going to be more of like an FSR, or a player that has a little bit more staying power?
I don't think there's any doubt that he's more likely to be a consistent top 16 to 24 type of guy than Mohamed Sufi, for sure.
Well, yeah, Mohamed Sufi is always going to have like those, I guess, the struggles of the mechanics, right? Because he's got one of the more unique deliveries in the game, we'll say.
Sufi's game is all or nothing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, all or nothing. It can win you tournaments, but it can put you out 2 and out very quickly as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, any other discussions that you guys had for this event?
No, other than the joint statement that was released by all the players during the event, I thought was interesting.
Let's jump into it.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I get it. The ACPS is.
This is where I exit stage right.
You worried about losing your seat at the show or what? No, I just thought that it was, interesting and kind of expected that everybody would come in defense of not as much in defense of the World Nine Ball Tour as in don't tell us where we can play. And everybody was climbing on like, well, it was obviously written by Matchroom and they all just put their stamp on it. Well, duh. If they're in the middle of a tournament, no one expects them to go turn into Ernest Hemingway overnight and post these big, long-winded posts. So, but and I don't think that anybody thought that, or most sane people thought that like there was a gun to their head to regurgitate this post. I mean, I just think that they said, yeah, I'm in, I'm going to put it up there, and they did. So, I thought that was really interesting. The timing of it, to me, was really interesting. And then a couple days ago, the timing of all the Hanoi Open. Can't wait to play in the Hanoi Open, which was precipitated by here's the top 16 have signed up for the Hanoi Open, which to me was, certainly was not a necessary post, but it was their hook to get all these players to talk about how excited they are about the Hanoi Open, because there had been, word on the street that tournament might be in jeopardy, and that they know that the ACBS is cracking down on Vietnam and on the Asian players and things like that. So, I thought it was the timing and the delivery of all these has been really interesting to me, but I give them credit for all sticking to it. We'll just see if it has any impact on WPA and ACBS decisions.
Well, there's already been an announcement that Predator's pulling out of Venezuela. I mean, I don't know what
that was not an ACBS WPA thing.
I wouldn't think so. But you'll see that like the keyboard warriors that are saying like this is what happens when players stand together and they're
it had nothing to do with the players.
I would have to assume that has much more to do with the political strife going on in Venezuela right now.
Well, for one, there was going to be no men's event there anyway. So what difference does it make what the men players were saying?
Yeah.
The men's event had been pulled out of there a long time ago. So that's a completely different story. But still a lot of drama between now and Hanoi, for sure.
Yep, and we're only less than a month away, or right around a month away.
Yeah, Hanoi is September or October. Hanoi is October, right before.
If it's October, then it's right before. Yeah.
It's right before Reyes Cup, right? Yeah. So,
yeah,
we'll
the Hanoi Open, the 8th through the 13th. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little over a month away. Yep. Well, I guess 2 months away.
Your thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, since you're trying to dodge it. When did you get so bashful? You don't have an opinion anymore?
My worry would be if it becomes a government decision on whether or not the tournament goes ahead.
What do you mean?
And if it's a government decision on whether or not the tournament goes ahead, then Matchroom are screwed.
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, you know what the threats are against anybody who, lends a helping hand. And then today the WPA come out with their big thing, promoting the Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam tournament coming up in September or whatever, with pictures of every World Nine Ball Tour player in the history of the game, on their poster. So, it's the battle lines are drawn. It's going to be interesting to see who blinks first.
But I know that there was a meeting. I know who was invited and who was not invited to the meeting. And I know there were players that just said straight away yes, and other players that obviously they have, they're a bit split on if you take the fillers, for example, the Pia has to follow the WPA. There's nothing for her in matchroom. She can't do anything in matchroom, but filler stays in matchroom. So they've got to support both. That's why the statement was from Josh and not from the killer fillers.
Right.
His statement, So Pia will continue to support because the WPA. That's where the money is for the women players. Apparently Johan Chua was quite emotional because for him it's a big financial thing. I believe, and I don't quote me on this, but I believe that it's in the region of $100,000 that he will lose per year by choosing to stand against the federations and stay with Matchroom. And that's quite a big chunk for him, He was basically on a wage of like $6,500 a month or something like that, and then extra sponsorships and stuff like that. So for him, he was very emotional in there. It's a tough one, So for some people, it's a very easy decision, one way or the other.
Right.
And for others, a split, And let's say Hanoi doesn't go ahead. You're a player, and you say, "I'm going to support Matchroom. I'm going to put my neck on the line with the WPA by supporting Matchroom." Now the Hanoi Open doesn't go ahead. Let's say the government gets involved and says, "No, you're not coming here." Just this year alone, World Cup of Pool, Spanish Open, and Hanoi off the calendar.
Yeah, that's a big chunk.
That's a big chunk, And Hanoi was, if you ask the players, Hanoi was the best tournament.
Why do you think the WPA all of a sudden is so rich on going to Hanoi?
What they did was
they went in September. They're going with the World Championship in 2025.
They went there. They kicked up a fuss. They organised a tournament in September. They asked Feder and Filler to support the tournament, and they openly supported the tournament. And then the rest kicked off and said, "Well, hold on a minute. What are you doing?" And in the matchroom contracts, it's stated you can play any events you want, but if you're going to play a 9-ball event, it shouldn't clash with a WNT 9-ball event.
Right.
If you want to play a 10-ball World Championships, while we have a Hanoi Open, for example, go ahead and do it, but don't support 9-ball. And then they go and it's not while there's another tournament on, so they felt that it was okay to do it. But this is with that mixed in with the WPA and the ACBSTF, or I don't know, the alphabet, with them going to the people of Hanoi and saying, kicking up a fuss and trying to ban Vietnamese players and stuff like that. Then the players got together. I don't think it was so much Matchroom got to get the players together. The players got together, Yeah. Jason was a big voice, as he always is, in the meeting, and basically said, "Guys, you're going to have to start, pulling your socks up and stand up for yourselves here." And they all did. They all said, "Yeah, okay." And it's filtered down through the other players, and more players are now putting these posts up. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen, Mike? You've been covering this industry longer than all of us combined. What do you think is going to happen?
No clue. I mean, it's just, there's a couple things at play here to me. Obviously, the ACBS is like an out-of-control bully confederation that the WPA can't even tell to stop, because the continental federations can, they determine the rules in their continent. So WPA, the only thing WPA could do would be to axe the ACBS and get someone else in there as the federation head. But so they're kind of a rogue group on their own. WPA takes forever to come up with a statement and say something, and it usually doesn't mean anything. But they're trying to protect. They say they're trying to protect the sport, protect the national federation. They're all trying to protect jobs. So that's a problem. On the other side of it, the WPA has said, I don't know how many times, listen, we go to Matchroom and say, don't even want a fee. Just allow us to sanction your tournaments so that these confederations and national federations don't have to have this argument, right? All you got to do is like they did with the UK Open, whatever other event, there was no problem with those, right? Because they had a WPA sanction, whether Matchroom wanted it or not. And it seems like Matchroom doesn't want to accept that. For what reasons, I don't know, because Matchroom's kind of, said, as long as there's kind of legal implications here, we're not really commenting on any of this. So, so we don't know. We're just left to kind of guess. But I've heard WPA say 9 million times, listen, we told them, just let us put WPA stamp on it. We won't ask you anything. We won't require anything of you. We won't ask for a sanction fee. We won't tell you got to have 25 WPA event member players in it. Just put the stamp on there. And they've said no. So I don't know. I don't know how much of that is, that's kind of one side of the story. I just can't get the Matchroom side. So
well, the Matchroom side is give us from what I understand, give us the ranking and we'll sanction with you. And the WPA say, no, you're not having the ranking.
No, WPA has said that they would accept the WNT 9-ball rankings. And they would have their own WPA 9-ball rankings as well, because there's other tournaments around the world that are not WNT. So if you have two sets of rankings and Matchroom's going to base everything off theirs, difference does it make?
Yep. Yeah.
So, there's, because we never get them talking to each other that we can listen in on. And each side tends to not want to talk about it, for legal reasons or just for whatever. We just have to guess on a lot of this stuff.
Well, it's never good to talk about the hostages in a hostage negotiation,
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you're giving up leverage very often by talking about the negotiations.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anybody to tell me about the negotiations. Yeah. I just want to know what is your opposition to having a WPA stamp on it if it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, you've got a WPA stamp on the World Championship, right? And the WPA has nothing to do with that World Championship. As far, their player allocation was like 6 players, out of 128. And, they weren't even allowed to give out the medals,
but they did get second place out of it.
So, why are the rest of these events any different?
Yeah. They did get third place out of it, though.
With your pal, would you?
Yeah.
I bet he's wishing he'd signed a contract. He'd be in Mosconi Cup.
Well, no, he had said a while ago he wished he had signed a contract, and even after, even when the players did their joint statement, kind of, their big release of the statement on the ACBS, and he actually posted something where he obviously couldn't reprint that letter, but he did post something that vaguely said, we really should be able to play wherever we want.
Mm-hmm.
So even he kind of stuck his chin out there a little bit.
Well, my understanding is he has signed a contract of sorts to always be. I think there's a small group of players that are guaranteed a spot on the 128 if somebody pulls out.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't get his ranking points.
He's on that short list for sure.
Yeah. Well, he's probably the best player in the world that didn't sign. I don't think that there's much of an argument there.
Well, if you put everybody in the ranking, he'd be the highest ranked player who didn't sign. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even just take away the rankings and just give it the eye test. I mean, who's better that didn't sign? That we know of. I mean, there's obviously Chinese players.
I didn't sign.
Mike Deschênes, yeah. Well, you're different, Mike.
Justin Bergman.
It must be I'm sure Wojtek would love that action if he could get it.
Wu Chao Ching.
Yeah. I mean that's the list. It'd be the Chinese players, right? I mean, it would definitely not be. I mean, you brought up a pretty good point. If the Spanish Open doesn't go ahead, the World Cup of Pool and the Hanoi Open doesn't go forward, that'd be a big fall off.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that being said, they did add the Reyes Cup. Obviously, that's not exactly the same thing, but
not in terms of prize money or opportunity.
Yep.
For players. So yeah, so when you take the other three out, you'd be looking at 600,000 plus. It's that would be a big bite. Now, Hanoi Open could go ahead as planned, and we all hope for that, obviously.
And the World Cup of Pool will take place early 2025.
Yep.
The reason I can tell you why it wasn't in 24. They apparently, allegedly, they signed a contract, a 3-year contract, maybe even 5. I'm saying 3-year for 25, 26, 27. And they had 24 left over, and nobody wanted it for 1 year, so they just ended up not doing it. They couldn't sell it for a year.
You think they'd be able to just run it out of? Where did they run during COVID? They were running all the events out of that right next to their headquarters.
Yeah, yeah, you would imagine so, but
yeah, I mean,
again,
it's not anything that draws a big crowd, anyways.
But well, Barry Hearn, don't they own Ali Pally? Why couldn't you just run it out of Ali Pally for a week?
He doesn't own Ali Pally, but he's got a deal with it.
Barry's too busy practicing for the U.S. Open.
They can come and do it here if they want.
That's right.
People can sit in my garden and look through the window.
Plenty of wine.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what the schedule looks like next year. Obviously, Matchroom doesn't like to announce anything until seemingly six weeks out for something. So.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, we still don't even know, where the Reyes Cup is going to be in Manila, and still don't know what the captain situation is. I mean,
or if there will be one.
Kind of interesting because I'm sorry.
We're all assuming that it's going to be Reyes but
see, I would not assume it would be Reyes for Team Asia.
I don't think so either. No way.
To me, that wouldn't make any sense.
Then I can tell that then
he should be the figurehead. He should be the figurehead that hands out the trophy at the end.
Correct. Then there won't be a captain. There won't be a captain.
He doesn't. You don't want him to be the losing captain of a tournament.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
Then
you're there to honor him, not to.
If that's correct, and what you said, then there won't be captains. There'll be no captains. There'll be playing captains.
Well, but you can't wait until all the players have been determined by automatic picks before you pick your player captain, because then it looks like you're picking who you want to play because they didn't qualify.
Well, then you might end up having a player captain that literally does not speak the language of somebody else.
Yeah, it's just kind of odd to me that they haven't even discussed what that is yet.
Well, we know who it's going to be for Europe, don't we? I mean,
well, yeah, I always assumed it would be Jason, and it's like, but then it starts to look like, here's another payday for our buddy. It's. I mean, that's 80. Well, the Reyes Cup, they said the payout's not going to be near what the Mosconi is. But
it's either 10 and 20 or 15 and 30.
Yeah. So, but you're still looking at, possibly 60, 70,000, gift if you're Jason Shaw. It's not like he's a terrible player who doesn't deserve to be on a team, but it's a pretty cushy gig.
Yep.
And how do you pick a player captain for Team Europe? I mean, and for Team Asia.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If you start waiting until after players have already automatically qualified, then you just, you pick like a.
Well, Johan Chua speaks. Yeah, Johan Chua speaks English, well enough. Aloysius Yap speaks, perfect English. But if they pick any of the co-brothers, they don't speak English hardly at all. I mean, very little. But I mean, how are you going to have a playing captain that does? I mean, you just can't communicate.
Player captain for Team Asia is no slam dunk. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's just kind of, and I know honestly, I'm busy with all these other tournaments. The European Open right on top of the U.S. Open and all that, but it's getting pretty tight, timing wise.
Yeah. And Mike, I think you have to drop off. So
I do.
I do appreciate you joining on.
Always good seeing you guys.
What before you leave? Before you leave, who
soon.
wins? Who leaves? Or who wins? Shane
What's
or
that?
Fedor?
Shane or Federer in the 10 ball?
Yep.
I'm going Shane.
Going Shane. All right.
All right. Which means, I'm like the Dominic Dunn of Panozzo.
Yeah.
So load up on Federer.
Yeah,
So.
right.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks.
See you, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess with Mickey's win, he is announced for the Reyes Cup. So I guess we were kind of talking about it anyways. Let's just keep this train rolling. We have Mickey Krause being announced, as well as Johan Chua. Both of them make the finals. Both of them are going to be representing their, I guess, regions. We'll say their continents.
And Kachi and Yap as well. Then
Kachi was already announced, and so was Yap. Yep. So those were both announced after the World Championships, I believe.
Yeah.
So we got Robbie Capito in third place right now, but by barely. Holy buckets. $18 separates Ko Ping Yi and Robbie Capito for the last guaranteed spot. How nervous are those two going to be if in this U.S. Open?
Yeah, Ko Ping Yi gets a wild card, doesn't he? I think
it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine he wouldn't.
Really tough. I mean, Robbie Capito. I mean, no disrespect to Robbie, but
I think it's more important to Robbie Capito.
He's going to have to keep that spot, or he's not going to get in.
I think it's more important. Yeah, I think it's more important for Robbie Capito because I don't. You're right. I don't. Ko Ping Yi. I mean, I could see a situation where Ko Ping Yi doesn't get a wild card. Ko Ping Chung and Carlo Beato.
That's what I mean. You've got the Ko brothers and you've got Beato that are still there, and they're always going to get.
And Anton Raga. I mean, you could make a very serious argument for Anton Raga, especially with the being in the Philippines. I mean, I could see a situation where neither of the Ko brothers realistically get a wild card. I mean, it's sacrilegious to say, but I mean, what's the difference? Ko Ping Yi, Ko Ping Chung. What's the difference between those two and Carlo Beato, Anton Raga? You going to be happy either way?
It's all on the day, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not even talking about like Jeffrey Ignacio, who's fifth on this list.
But let's not forget the crowds are going to be there anyway. I'm going to speak as a production company. The crowds are going to be there anyway, so you want as many different nationalities in the teams to make sure that the viewership comes in from outside as well. So do you really need to fill the team with Filipinos? I don't really think so.
Oh, I'm not talking about as far as like marketing. I'm talking about just quality of player. If I'm telling you right now that there was a Scotch doubles matchup or even a 4-person tournament where it's a race to 100, and you have Ko Ping Chung versus Anton Raga, and you have Carlo Beato versus Ko Ping Yi.
I mean, if you're talking about quality of player, then Chung gets my vote every single time at the moment. At this moment in time, Chung gets my vote.
I think I would probably go with Anton.
Nah.
Anton Raga doesn't play any of these tournaments, and he's in the semifinals of every one, and he only plays 1 out of 5, and he's there.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I said, it's all on the day. You've got those 4 players. They could play 4 days in a row, and each day,
every single one of them, you could have a different winner. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean,
and that's kind of my point, right? Is I'm not necessarily saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying like if they did pick. I do like your marketing. I think that is something that they probably should look at. Get as many nationalities involved. I wouldn't even mind seeing. I said this from the beginning, and I say it now. It's a mark. I mean, I'd say this about the Mosconi Cup too. This is not a real event. It is an exhibition. I want to see Naoki Oi. I want to see Naoki Oi on that platform. Do I think he's the best pick? No. But is he going to be the most entertaining? Heck yeah, he will be. I just think it'd be nice to see.
He's got entertaining interviews. He's not the most entertaining to watch.
Well, he's very fast-paced. He's very flamboyant, even around the table. I mean, he's as a purist, he's still a little bit different. But I see what you're saying. But as a purist, I still think yes. I mean, I don't know. You could go anyway. I mean, you can go anywhere with it. I don't think that Robbie Capito stays in. I think that he gets knocked out from his spot.
Yeah, he's not really backed up yeah. He's done a bit of a Victor. He's not really backed up the early money that he made.
Well, I think he had 30,000 from the UK Open, right? He's sitting at 39,000. So
he's not backed up.
But I do like Robbie as a player, and I do like him as a person, and I like him as a player. So if he was out there, I think it'd be pretty cool. But I think he probably gets knocked out of that third spot. Yeah. So I mean, as is, I mean, fill out your final 5 on Europe and fill out your final 5 on Asia.
The 5 that I think will get through, or the 5 that I want to play?
The 5 that you think.
Woo!
I mean, obviously on the European side, so already we'll say it again, Eklund Kochi, Mickey Krause are already locked in. Joshua Filler is $5,000 ahead of David Al-Qaidi for the 3rd spot, and then $8,000 in front of Victor Zielinski for the 3rd spot. So as is right now going into the U.S. Open, if nothing changes, Joshua Filler would be your 3rd. And on the Asian side of things, Robbie Capito would be your 3rd, although those are separated by literally $18. So,
I mean, you've got to think Filler will defend his 3rd place. You've got to think that he'll either defend or he'll jump up. So, and you want to have him in the team anyway.
Seems like a reasonable.
Yeah, so you want him in the team anyway. So I'm going to say Filler and Jay, because I believe Jay will be in the team.
So who's your last?
If I was going to just pick somebody to be in that team, I mean, I don't know. I'd be looking at Mickey Krause and put somebody in there that's a bit more like him, that can keep him settled, kind of thing. I mean, you'd almost want to put Niels in, but I just don't think.
Last time we saw Niels in that position, he was not very strong.
No, exactly. You also and Niels is, he still plays great pool, but he's just not quite there at the moment. So I would take somebody who's played Mosconi before. I would probably go with. I'd probably just go safe and take Albin, to be honest.
Albin has not played well the last few years, but he has been proven on that stage plenty of times.
Exactly, he's proved he can do it. I mean, where else do you go? Do you take another rookie? Do you give somebody the experience just in case? Well, you could be looking towards Mosconi Cup. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Jason is a captain for the Reyes Cup. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just saying, let's say for argument's sake. Now, if he looks at the ranking list just now, he sees, Mickey Krause is there, Victor Zielinski is in the running. There's a couple of PA is just underneath with a chance of jumping in. You could make an argument for saying, right, I'm taking all the rookies to the Reyes Cup, because if any of them get in, I want them to have experience of playing in that setting and playing on that single table in a team atmosphere. So you could make an argument for saying, right, my team is going to be me, Filler, Kachi, Mickey Krause, and Victor. Regardless of how everyone's playing just now, Victor's not playing great. I want to see how they react. I want to put them in there because if they do make Mosconi Cup, at least they've got the experience of playing the Reyes Cup and playing in that atmosphere. Why not? I mean, take them over and give them the experience. You don't want to put a rookie in. If you don't really want to put a rookie in completely green in the Mosconi Cup, but if they've played this, then at least they've got some sort of experience.
Yeah,
I might be tempted to do that. I could be tempted to do that. Yeah,
sure. I'm looking at I'm looking at the Racks event because the first round is done. So I'm seeing if there are any sort of updates to kind of help us along with, I guess, the all of this speculation we're doing. FSR is into the 3rd round. Pius Labutis is into the 3rd round. Max Lechner is into the 3rd round. Robbie Capito is into the third round. Carlo Biato's into the third round. Victor Zielinski's into the third round. David Alcaide. Mickey Krause. So Alex Kazakis, he's not really in it. And Joshua Filler. So I mean, no real upsets from what I'm seeing so far.
Early in the tournament.
There's some pretty tough matches so far. I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
I mean, Carlo Biato, Mika Immonen, that's pretty tough. Demetrius Lukautis and Elliot Sanderson are playing next. That should be a fun one. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna make my prediction, I guess I'm kind of with you. I think Josh holds on. So you're looking at Eklund, Mickey Krause, and Joshua Filler. I have to assume Jason Shaw is going to get in as well. And then I think he goes safe and picks Albin. I mean, he's had enough of an experience with Albin. He's played enough of those events with him. He knows that he's going to be there. It just seems like the safe pick. And on the Asian side, who do you got?
Well, I got Yap Chua. I think Capito falls off, so I'm going to see Big Co. And then I stick in Chung and Biado.
We are the exact same, except I swap out Biado for Anton Raga. And we are the exact same. Yeah. In fact, I think I would actually probably have Jeffrey Ignacio on there before I would have Carlo. Only because I think Carlo's a little bit more of a lone type of player than he would be a team player. And I think Jeffrey Ignacio with the Johan Chua and then the Co brothers, I think that those would be, just good dynamic and chemistry. I mean, building the best team as opposed to the 5 individual best players. But other than that, I agree with you. Everything down the line. So with those 2 teams, who do you got winning? Well, it's not hard for me. I think Asia wins because I think that home advantage is. It's got to mean something.
Who do I think wins that?
Riveting podcast. You obviously think it's close. You obviously think it's close if you're thinking this hard.
I'm trying to think of the doubles pairings to see, because the Asians are obviously going to be pretty strong with the double pairings, and I'm not sure where the points are in Europe. Yeah, I'm gonna say based on.
I would say 11-8. 11-8 Asia.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be close, but I'd probably just give the edge to Asia. I think, yeah.
I think 11-8.
I just don't see where all the successful.
It's got to be singles. I mean, it's got to be. Josh is good for 3 points minimum, right?
Yeah, but against them, he is against the States. But is he against them? Nobody's good for 3 points.
But when Josh is playing over here, it's not like he's playing against like Shane Wolford. I mean, he's still playing against Shane or Fedor or Sky. I mean, those are always his singles.
Yeah.
You really think any of those Asian players are that much weaker than Shane, Sky, and Fedor?
No, I think they're stronger.
Yeah, well, I think if you take all 3 of them, but not by much.
Yeah, no, 3 points.
And I don't even agree. I think that US. I mean, in that arena, I guess I can't argue with it because none of them play their games in that arena.
We don't know because we haven't seen a Team Asia play this before.
Yeah,
so we really don't know if this is their thing or not.
But you would have to assume that maybe Aloysius Yap is going to be a bit of a wild card. But you think Johan Chua's going to be afraid of 4,000 screaming people? Or the Co brothers, maybe that is.
You don't know.
You do, yeah. I mean, I guess you don't. I trust that any of the Filipinos that are going to be in there are going to do just fine.
You would imagine so.
Just given the,
I personally think that's a match that it could be any score, absolutely any score. The least likely would be a complete blowout win for Europe, but anything else is absolutely possible. Yeah.
Well, I have more conviction. I'm going to say Asia 11-8 because I think it's fun. But we're still long ways out.
To be honest, I think you're pretty close here. I think that's pretty much that. I think that's where the line would be. Yeah.
I would probably set the line at 7.5 for Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's go over to the Mosconi Cup because now we have Eklund Kochi that is guaranteed in. The second spot is going to be up right after the U.S. Open, and that is going to be Mickey Krause's $7,500 in head of Joshua Filler. And then we have David Al-Qaidi. So I think basically for the U.S. Open, I mean, unless Mickey and Josh really lay an egg and have a stinker of a tournament, it seems to me that those two, it's definitely theirs to lose. Given the fact that Mickey is $12,000 up on David Al-Qaidi, and the prize money for the U.S. Open, $12,000, you would have to get to the semifinals basically to get that, which is $13,000. So if Mickey Krause just got $1,000, David Al-Qaidi would have to be runner-up to be able to catch him. Big advantage, big lead.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Mickey Krause is in? I mean, Josh has to get to the semifinals to be able to.
He's in a very, very strong position.
Yeah. Josh has to get a minimum semifinals to pass him. And that's assuming he doesn't take, if he finds a way to even make the final 64, no, that would still be enough. So if Josh makes the semifinals, actually, it's not as bad for it. If Josh makes the semifinals, Mickey Krause actually has to get to fifth. He has to get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And then Josh would have to then be runner-up. So, yeah, Mickey Krause, I mean, he's in a dominating position to hold on to it.
Oh, he's in a very, very strong position. Even if he doesn't hold on here, he's still in a strong position to hold on in Hanoi.
Well,
I think
I don't necessarily agree with because a lot can happen.
Okay, but he's still in a good position, I think he probably defends. I think he I don't know. I'm torn. Because
one thing I will say,
I might not be doing the guy justice. I just don't want him on the team.
Don't want him on the team.
And that's no disrespect to him. I don't know. Let's say he backs it up in the US Open, and I'm not saying goes and wins the US Open, but I want to see a last 16. I want to see him go to Hanoi. I want to see a last 16. I want to see him go to the Reyes Cup and get his points. Then he's a Mosconi. Then I'll say, you know what? Get on that team. And I'm probably doing him injustice because he's built up in the last tournaments, the last few months, and he's got to this crescendo that he showed last week. And I'm probably doing him an injustice. He's proved himself already. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for the next rookie to be Mickey Krause. We've always talked about Labutis and Victor and this was the new generation of rookies. It was never a name that came up, and we were wrong. Sanjin, and we were obviously wrong because it's going to be Mickey Krause, and all credit to him for doing it.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in this. I'll tell you what, this New York event right now at Rax is going to be massive.
Yeah, what's the money in that?
So I don't know if there is payouts anywhere publicly yet.
Because let's say Filler wins that, then all of a sudden it's not semi-final, quarter-final. It's just
now it might be just better, a heads up. It might just be a heads up, yeah.
Yeah. Or if Al-Qaidi wins it, or Mickey could go and win it, and it's already settled before the US Open.
Yeah. I mean, well, if Mickey has a top 4 finish here, that's
could be done.
That's huge. I mean, I'm trying to
Well,
find.
I'm going to say Team Europe. Team Europe Mosconi Cup is going to be Kachi, Mickey Krause, Filler, Jason, and Alkady.
Okay, yeah. I'll say the same team, except for I'm going to take Albin
Instead of
Al-Qaeda. Well, obviously not Jason, you clown.
well, what made you think that Alkady was the wild card?
Well, how? Because if not, you're picking Mickey Krause as a wild card.
No, then I'm picking Filler.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Filler and Jason as the wild cards.
Yeah, you're right. But that would require Josh not to make it in that third spot, which I guess is very possible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're still a clown.
if it's Filler, Mickey and if it's Filler, Mickey and Kachi, they get the automatic spots, then yes, it will be Jason and Albin. I'm pretty sure of that.
Sure. I guess let's move over to the USA side of things. As of right now, how it sits, Fedor is in. Shane is $6,000 ahead of Tyler Steyer, and Oscar is $8,000 behind Tyler.
Is Tyler playing this event? Did he get his little medical issue sorted? Did he?
The U.S. Open or the Racks?
Racks.
He is in this event, yes.
Okay, good. So who do you think?
Well, I guess I can't even say that that's true, to be honest with you. He signed up for this event. I have not verified that he's actually traveled to the event. He started with a bye. So it's, okay. I mean, there are forfeits in this bracket that show up as forfeits, but are still in the tournament. So it's possible that he was a forfeit. It seems weird that he would be a forfeit. They wouldn't know about it and would keep him with a bye in the opening round. Because then basically you're giving somebody a bye into the third round. But I'm not sure. I guess I could probably take a look right now and find out.
So you go first. Who's making it for Team USA then?
Well, see, this is the problem I have with Sky. I shouldn't say with Sky, but I am saying with Sky, is because he doesn't play a full schedule. He kind of picks and chooses the events that he goes to. It opens up that third spot for somebody to be one with it not being him. Right. So if Sky played a full schedule or even a fuller schedule, the top three spots are completely done. Everybody knows it. I mean, yes, Oscar could put together a good enough season to potentially unseed Sky, or Tyler could as well. But I mean, that's probably the list, right? I mean, can you really imagine any other American being able to make deep enough runs without Justin Bergman playing? Or I guess Mike DeShane is going to come back now, so he's probably going to be, I don't know, best U.S. player we got. I don't know. That's a joke. But is there any other player that you realistically over the course of a WNT schedule could pass Sky into that third spot?
Normally not, no.
I wouldn't think so. Maybe I think Tyler and Billy doesn't play very much either, so maybe Billy could be a third one. But it's good for the rest of the players because now they're playing for that third spot, right? With Sky having the rough year that he's had and not playing a full schedule, that opens up a third spot. So as of right now, I don't see how anybody passes Tyler for that third spot for the Hanoi Open. That's also going to be traveling. He's at 33,000. He is 7,000 ahead of 7,000 and change ahead of Oscar. That means that Oscar would have to get into the semifinals to be able to pass Tyler. I don't know that Oscar Dominguez has made a semifinals of a WNT event, one of the majors. I don't think that he has. I think he's definitely made some final 32s. Maybe he's made a final 16. I do not think that he's ever made a final or a semifinal. So he would have to have the tournament, the best tournament he's had in the WNT of the major events to get to that point. So I have to assume he's not going to. Shane will be announced. There's no way that Tyler's going to be passing Shane. I don't see that. I don't see Shane not making enough money to stay ahead of Tyler. So Shane's going to be announced. So from now until the Hanoi Open, can somebody pass Tyler? I just don't see it happening at this point. I think Tyler's locked into that third spot. Sky would be the one person who possibly could, I think. And even still, he ended up with a semifinal finish last weekend, and he is still back in 29th place with 18,000. So he's 15,000 behind Tyler. I just don't see him catching up. I don't see it. So I think Tyler gets a third spot. Sky obviously goes into that fourth spot. The fifth spot, I think it's going to be Billy. I think if Billy is playing and has any semblance of his game, I think it's Billy that's picked. What do you think?
Correct. I think it's got to be Billy or Oscar. It's got to be Billy or Oscar. And I think if Billy is playing any sort of decent pool, then I think he gets a nod.
Yeah, I think it's Billy's to lose. Just given the friendship that him and Sky have, and that it's less about him picking his favorites and more about picking somebody that he's going to trust. I think.
He knows what Billy brings to the Mosconi Cup. He knows what he brings to the table, and he knows that even if his game's not quite there, he knows that the extra what he brings, is good for the team as well.
Well, they haven't won since the last time Billy's been on the team. I think I'm right in saying that. Does that sound right? I don't think the last time the U.S. won, Billy was on the team.
Yeah, okay, but they've lost with him on the team as well since.
Have they? Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that he's been on the team. Last year was
he played in the COVID one.
That's a weird one, though. I mean, do you really consider that?
He's been on the team since they won it. So he was on it in 20.
Yeah, but I mean, you almost need to have the wild card of the crowd to give the U.S. a chance. You would agree with that?
Well, 20. Which one was behind closed doors? No, 20 wasn't behind closed doors. It was 20 that was behind closed doors. And then 21, we were in 21 we were in London.
23 was the last one we were just at. That had Wolford. The one before that was Vegas that had Oscar. So that
wasn't in that. And then he must have been in the 20. He must have been in the 21. He must have been.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no. Oh no, that was the earlier. No, that was Earl and Oscar was Vegas. So yeah, I mean, I guess it probably 21 it would have had to have been, right? Because there's nobody else that could have been that we wouldn't remember.
21 in London. Must have been.
It had to have been. I mean, there's really, yeah. I mean, I'm fact checking right now, but there's nobody else that it could have been without us like remembering it. No, that was a Reinhold year. That was a Chris Reinhold year. That's right, because it was Chris Reinhold and JJ. Remember?
Oh, that was the JJ Fowler.
That was the JJ Fowler. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Because Earl Strickland had COVID. That's why he got the I mean, for my opinion, that's the reason why he got the Vegas vid, of course.
So who was that? So that team was in Strickland, Reinhold.
It was supposed to be Strickland.
Yeah.
It was Reinhold, Guy, Tyler, JJ, and
Shane. Yeah.
Yeah, because Chris got it over Tyler that year. Yeah, so the last time that Billy was on the team, Billy wasn't even on the team for the COVID year. That was Chris Reinhold, Corey Deuel, Jeremy Jones, Joey Gray, Sky, and Shane, because they took over two backups.
Well, there you go, Team USA. Bring back Billy if you want to win.
We haven't won since Billy was on the team.
Bully.
It is. I mean, that is the case, right?
Seems to be, yeah.
Crazy. I like it. So, I mean, we'll talk about the Mosconi Cup way more when we get up to it. Let's preview, I guess, really quickly the Fedor and Shane match that starts tonight. It starts at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and what is that? 1 a.m. your time? No, should be midnight your time, right?
What's that? 3.5 hours from now?
Yeah.
Yeah, midnight my time. So 11 o'clock UK time. And it's going to be a long 3 days.
What do you got? Who do you think?
Who do I think
wins? What's the score, and what do you think the difference would be?
What's the score, and what do I think the difference will be? I'm telling you the difference if I give you the score, no?
No, I mean, when I say difference, I mean like the break was the difference, or safety.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go...
You think way too hard.
I'm going to say Shane 120 to 106. And the break and stamina.
Wow. 14-game difference, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to beat him by about 10%, is what you're saying, give or take. A little bit more than 10%. Oof. I mean, I'm so torn on this. I mean, I really am so torn on this, because if there's one person in the world that has a chance against Shane and 10 ball, well, I still think Eklund Kachi beats both of them. I die on that. I mean, I look kind of dumb after this past performance he just had last weekend, but I mean, I die on this hill. I think that Eklund beats them both right now, but it's hard to bet against Shane. But I think I'll take Fedor. I'll take Fedor 120 to 108.
Oh, so you think Fedor's got like a 10% on it?
Close-ish, yeah.
So you're giving Fedor 10%, but you go, ooh, when I give Shane 10.5%.
I don't. I picked Shane originally, and
I don't think this match is going to go real close. I have a feeling I've got a feeling there's going to be a bit of an anticlimax to it, because it's one of those ones that you're rubbing your hands waiting for, and everyone's, oh, it's going to be amazing, and I just feel like this is the moment. It's just going to be a bit, okay, one way or the other, you know.
So let me. So if you think it's that, then, and you're picking Shane, I could see Fedor winning this match by 40 games. I don't think I could ever see Shane winning it by 40 games.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say 120 to 80.
Well, you said it's going to go one way. I mean, I guess.
No, I didn't say it would go one way. I'm saying I think it's going to be. I think it'll be It's what I'm not saying. I think it's got the writing on it of being a bit of an anticlimax. It's not going to be an Orcolo 119, 119. Yeah,
nothing was that.
I think somebody will win it. I mean, reasonably comfortable, and I think 14 racks is reasonably comfortable. And I think Shane's break gives him the advantage, and I think he's got a better stamina, or he's got proven stamina. I'm not saying Fedor doesn't. I'm just saying he's proved. I'll go with Shane, because I can't bet against him. I can't bet against him playing 10 ball.
I will say this: Shane does, Jesus Christ, Fedor does have the back issues. Those can kind of come and go. Hopefully, he's feeling healthy for both. Hopefully, both players are feeling healthy, because ultimately, we want to see a really, really, really nice matchup, right?
Well, I don't care.
I find myself.
It's not something I'm going to watch anyway.
Oh yeah, well, it's the wrong time of the day.
I'm going to watch it anyway, because I really don't care.
Well,
these long sets, I just think they're a bit. Yeah. Okay.
Shut up, Jim. I find that if I the natural pick for me is Fedor, and I have to talk myself into Shane. And if I have to talk myself into it, I don't know. No, Jason has never beat Shane in any of them. Correct? I know no, it's never been. I don't think that. I don't know that they've played 9-ball. I think Jason put up 14,000 of his own to play Shane, and I don't think he got past. I don't know if he definitely didn't get past 90. I don't think, and no 120. I want to say it was like 120.87 because that was the. They played in maybe Oklahoma, and Ara had that health scare on in between day 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, whatever it was, going into the last day. And Shane just came out and just drubbed him the last day. Jason definitely beat Shane last 9-ball. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely never been 10-ball. So, yeah, well, all right. Well, you don't care. And I don't care. You don't care.
Well, I'll go Shane, you go Fed, or what we betting?
First 2 drinks in Mosconi.
Ooh. Deal.
Oh, boy. U.S. Open. Pick a winner.
Fella.
Pick a winner. Pick a dark horse.
Oh, it's difficult because you would almost turn around and say Jason's a bit of a dark horse the way things are going at the moment.
Absolutely. He's as close to a dark horse as you could find.
I'm going to go Fella to win it, and I'm going to say dark horse. I'm going to say Max Lechner.
I like that.
Always does well in the States. Always plays well in the States.
I do like that. Okay. I'm going to pick Koping Chung. And my dark horse is going to be... I'm going to go real dark. I'm going to go Alex Kazakis. I think he's destined to have another big event. It's been a while for him. I thought
you were going to say Dennis here, and I was going to go... just when you were thinking about it, I thought, I should have said Dennis Grabe.
Could have been a good one. Yeah, could have been a good one.
Kazakis for Mosconi then. You reckon Kazakis? Yeah, well.
I don't know.
Listen, at the end of the day, any European that wins US Open.
Oh yeah, because
that whole conversation we've just had about Mosconi Cup just goes up in flames.
It's not true. I mean, it's not true because it's 50,000, so that would put him theoretically at 64,000, basically 65,000. But there's a lot of but there's a lot of outcomes where runner up is still. I mean, it's now we're getting a little bit out there, but
the field. Yeah.
He could be playing Josh in the finals. He could play David in the finals. He could be playing Mickey in the finals. I mean,
yeah. If you're playing another one of the top, you're not making a dent in anybody's.
Well, I mean, if he wins it, he's at 64,000, and Josh, he's still behind Mickey. So Mickey would then be, and he would only be like 2,000 ahead of, or 3,000 ahead of Josh. So I still don't, even if he wins the US Open.
I mean, how many? Oh no, don't bother looking. I was going to say, how many European players can technically jump over the top of Mickey with 50 grand? There must be a lot.
Basically, everybody ahead of Kazakis. I mean, what it would have to be. What he's at 69,000. So basically, anybody that's at 20,000 now. Anybody that's at 20,000 currently. So Mieszko Fortunski, Albin Ocean, Moritz Neuhausen.
Okay, well, how many are
there?
There's about 20 there.
Well, that's what, 5? So
there must be a number beside them.
Well, yeah, but they're not all Europeans. I'm looking at the whole list. Mieszko Fortunski, Albin Ocean, Moritz Neuhausen, Jonas Solta, FSR, Jason Shaw, Pius Labudis, Victor Zielinski, David Al-Qaedi, Joshua Filler. So 10 players.
Yep.
Not too bad. Okay. That's all I got. I'm going to close it down.
Good. It's been fun.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Yeah. We'll see you next week, maybe from the U.S. Open.
Are you going, are you?
I'm going. I'm flying out Saturday.
Very nice.
Fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See you later, everyone.